Hey guys, welcome back to Roblox Jetset. Today we'll talk about the most powerful creatures in the Creatures of Sonaria. Let's head into it. Number 1. Boreal Warden. The Boreal Warden is a Tier 5 terrestrial herbivore that was obtained during the 2020 and 2021 and 2021-2022 winter events. It's a limited event warden species with stored variants for 5,250 shrooms in the shroom shop. It appears to be a titanic quadriplegic creature with a build that is comparable to the Imaxorodonts but more fragile. In certain sections, it appears to be devoid of flesh with bone-like structures for its legs. It appears to have a beak for a mouth and an owl-like head. It has a number of huge head feathers that resemble Native American war bonnets. It also wears a cloak that extends from its back to its tail. Bioluminescent light bulb-like shards are discovered floating all over its body, mostly at the base of the tail and along the creature's sides, while feathers are grouped by size on its face and back. Finally, big chunks of ice, sometimes floating, can be found on its neck, belly, and back. Grays, cyans, dark blues, and blue-grays make up the palette. The Warden's beak is adorned with a cluster of feathers that float and hover above it. Bleed Defense is a passive ability that allows creatures to withstand Bleed's effect. If a creature's Bleed Defense is 100%, it is immune to melee direct assaults that cause bleed. Warden's Rage is a passive and one-of-a-kind ability that boosts the user's damage output in dangerous situations. Only direct player attacks, and not residual, natural harm such as blood, poison, malnutrition, or thirst, NPC creatures, breaths, or damaging powers such as area escape, and only on adults, trigger this ability above age 66. The ability is activated for 60 seconds after being attacked. The duration resets to 60 seconds and restarts if the player is attacked while the effect is active. Number 2. Cyrodon. The Cyrodon is an aquatic carnivore of Tier 5. The species was once available in the limited gacha, but it is now unavailable in all gachas. The shroom shop sells the saved version for 5,250 shrooms. The Cyrodon has 6 legs and 9 spikes and dorsal fins on the top of half of its body, as well as a large tooth protruding from its bottom jaw. It features a big front fin with 2 webbed fins and a long whip-like tail. Its tail resembles that of an eel, but it also has a visibly lengthy neck, giving it a Pliosaurus-like appearance. Males have additional spikes on the sides of their tails that appear in the middle. Females do not have the additional spikes on the sides of their tails that males do. Bleed is a passive ability that will gradually hurt targets percentually, meaning that 2 totally healthy creatures with identical bleed defense will end up with the same percent of health left for the same amount they endure the status effect, while inhibiting regular health restoration. Bleed is currently ineffectual in small amounts, as it can be healed even while traveling. Targets with bleed are limited to 30 bleed while stationary, but can stack bleed to a maximum of 60 bleed if the target moves too much. Serrated Teeth is a passive ability that, when used with melee attacks, inflicts a debuff status effect on targets that reduces their bleed heal rate by half and lasts for 40 seconds. The countdown for the debuff duration will reset to 40 seconds if an attacker with the ability bites before the timer runs out. Number 3. The Yebaidi. The Yebaidi is a terrestrial herbivore of Tier 5. The species can be obtained with a time gacha that costs 100 hours, or roughly 6,000 minutes, of active gameplay. The shroom shop sells the saved version for 5,250 shrooms. Yebaidi are quadriplegic creatures with a long neck and a hefty upper body, comparable to the Larachu. It has little bug-like eyes and a long tapering head crest, similar to that of a Parasaurolophus, as well as long tapered ears. The Yebaidi's back is covered in tufts of fur, while its rump is covered with spikes and tendrils. It has a short tail that is coated in plating at the base and hair at the tip. Tendrils can be discovered on the creature's rump, the corner of its jaw, the armpit of its front legs, and the creature's corner of its jaw. Mawful created this concept for the Creatures of Sonaria Discord. The Yebaidi was not really inspired by anything. Giraffes, perhaps? For that kind of long neck and body shape, left my ass off. I basically kind of improvised a Yeba's design, as quoted by Mawful, a concept artist. The Yebaidi was once thought to be a Diomon resident, but this was modified with a Tame Brush's departure from COS, making this monster an ordinary Sonarian. The concept developer intended for the Yebaidi to walk on 2 fingers, but owing to a misunderstanding, it was given 3. The Yebaidi used to have the semi-aquatic ability as well as 5 bleed from the lure, but this was changed at some point. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen right now because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.